Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Allmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today I thought I would show you how to make this absolutely beautiful frame. Now I'm trying to turn it round in the camera so you can actually see the background with all the beautiful colours and things going on. And that's what we're going to work on today. You can put it, this is just an idea of how you can mount it onto a card afterwards. I've done this on quite a large square one, which is a 5¼ inch square card. You could take it smaller, you could take it larger, you could do it whatever focal point you want. But it's the actual technique of doing the background that I thought would be quite fun to show you. So let's get started. We need some of our watercolour paper. It's really good watercolor paper, and you need something which is as I say, is quite thick and sturdy because we're going to be putting a bit of water in. And I've just put this on one of our clear blocks, and I am going to put just some copy paper down so that I don't get splash absolutely everywhere. So you need to sort of secure your work surface because we're going to be using Brusho. Now we need our aqua painter and we need our spritzer. So the first thing we need to do is we need to spritz the paper. This just gets the paper wet, and you want just a little bit of wet on there. You will see it'll start to bend, which is fine. Turn it over onto the other side and do exactly the same on the other side, and then what it'll do is it'll flatten it out a bit. So we're just taking the water on to start off with. And then we are taking our Brusho. Now the Brusho comes in 2, 4, 5 little pots, and for Christmassy ones I thought the red and the blue would be absolutely lovely. So today we're going to work on just the blue. We don't want a multitude of colours, we just want one colour, because we're going to make a really nice sort of dark background. So I have a little pin in the top of mine because you just need to put a little point in, and we are just going to just sprinkle some of the Brusho all over the watercolour paper. Put the pin in, and we are then going to use an aqua painter. And this first run, we are literally going to, what we want to do is to cover the watercolour paper absolutely completely. So we're taking our aqua painter and we are just moving all of the Brusho right the way across because we want the whole of the watercolor card to be a dark blue to start off with. So we're literally just running it through. It is quite wet, and that's absolutely fine because it will dry out as we want it. But as I say, just move it right the way across into all the corners so we have a completely blue card. Okay, now we need to take the Brusho again, and we are going to get the little pin out. We're going to put this on over the top again. Because we want like a sort of a night sky on this one. Okay, and then with the aqua painter, what I'm doing is I'm just touching in some of the little areas, and what I want to do is to activate the crystals to get them to start just, you can see here that as I just add a little drop of water, what happens is the crystals will start to break down and give these lovely sort of starbursts on there. Now, as I say, we want this a fairly dark background because it's going to be a night sky. So as I say, take some of the little crystals and literally just dot them with the aqua painter, and you will get some of this just breaking through like this. There's a little bit of colour that I don't want on there. And as I say, just work through until you've got enough. Now, you will find that as you leave it to dry, what happens is that it will continue to, the crystals will continue to sort of bleed through into the paper, giving these lovely sort of starburst effects. Now, you can use a little bit of kitchen paper, and I've got one that I've used on one of the other ones, and you can then take just a corner of it and literally just touch it and soak up some of that water if you want to. Be aware that you don't want to do it too much, because if you do it too much, what will happen is that you will just get too much of the colour coming through. But you want just a little bit. Now, I would normally leave this completely and just let it dry, because you can see if I pick it up a bit, you can see that you've got these lovely sort of colours coming through of this sort of broken night sky. I am going to just use my heat gun just a little bit, so you'll have to excuse the noise, because I just want to take just a little bit of the moisture off. Not too much, because I don't want it to go too blobby, so just a little bit like that. That should be enough for what I want. And then we are going to take our Vegas Gold Shimmer Paint. Now, you can use any one of the shimmer paints with this, but I wanted a really nice sort of gold background. And with this, we need to have a stiff brush. So I've just got an old paintbrush. You can see on this that the bristles are quite stiff. You could use a toothbrush. You can use anything that you are going to get flicks with. So when you actually move the bristles of the brush across, you'll get some flicks. So we are going to dip this into the shimmer paint, and you just want a little bit in there. Wipe off the excess. And I found the easiest way is to actually do it with my finger. It washes off really easily. So we are going to flick it, and you will see that you get some absolutely lovely gold pieces through. And where the water's still there, what will happen is that the shimmer paint will start to blend through as well. So just literally take it through. As you, the first bit that you do, if you don't brush it off quite as much, says me, you can get bigger blobs. So let's try and get some bigger blobs this time. There, now you can see on this, I've got some really nice big blobs, and then you can fill in with the little tiny blobs. Go right to the corner of your paper, and just keep doing this until you've got the effect that you want. And then you need to be patient. You need to put this to one side and leave it to dry naturally. It'll probably take an hour or so. Could take a little bit longer. I'm just going to put some more of this shimmer paint just down on the bottom. If you wanted to wear gloves, you could do. But as I say, it does come off. I want some big splots at the bottom. So let's see if I can get some big splots at the bottom. Yes. Okay, and when this dries, the shimmer paint will give an absolutely glorious effect. And I will come back tomorrow and show you what we're going to do with that one. But for today, I just wanted to show you this technique on here. So let me just get my kitchen towel. If you had a baby wipe, you can just wipe it off quite easily. But you can see I've just done it on my finger. Apart from a little bit of sparkle, it comes off really quickly. And as soon as I wash my hands, it will it'll wash off. So as I say, don't worry about it too much. You do need to wash your paintbrush, and as I say, I will do that when we've finished. But if I just sort of pick that up a bit, I'm not sure on camera how much you can see, but you have this gorgeous blue background and you have this lovely shimmer. So I'm going to put this out of the way now to dry, and we'll work with one that I did yesterday. Now, Let's clear up all of these bits and pieces. Let's just wipe this for now so I don't get that all over the place. As I say, shimmer paint is absolutely lovely. You can do so much with it, and I'm really enjoying doing that. And again, with your aqua painter, make sure, because it's the Brusho does tend to give quite a lot of colour through. So make sure that you wash your bristles out and keep just going through until it starts to come clean. I will finish that off later, but you can see it's starting to come clean now. But as I say, Brusho is such a concentrated pigment that you do need to wash things out quite carefully. So I'm just going to put that to one side for now, and I'm going to clear this scratch paper out of the way because we don't need that now, although I will use it for something else later on. Okay, so let's bring back this original card, and I'll put it there so you can just see. So what we need to do is we need to get the stitch shaped framelits, and we are going to create a little frame. Now I used the largest, all over the place, I used the largest and the second largest for my sizes. And what I did was I ran through the Big Shot, the largest one first, because I found this was the easiest way to do it. So I ran the largest one in through first, so it then gave me a square. Let me just show you what I've done. Okay, so it gives you a square. Then I took the smaller one and I lined that up on here. It's easier to line it up rather than to try and do two at a time, because you can follow the little stitch shape pieces and you're more likely to get an accurate frame, and then you die cut that out. And what that gives you is, pulling those pieces out, a frame. Okay, so we have a back piece and we have a frame. Now to get the pieces, what I've done is I took the dry ones and I just cut them out using the smaller frame. So you've got, and again I'm going to try and move it in the light so you can actually see, you've got this lovely red background and you've got the shimmer paint in sort of splotches going across, which I thought was really, the red and the gold is really nice for Christmas, and I think the blue and the gold will be lovely for snowflakes. So that's what I'm intending to do. So the first thing we need to do is we need to adhere one of these to the back, because then that gives us something to work with. So let's just run some glue around the side here, like this, and then we're going to line it up on here. What I do is I just put it down loosely, pick it up, and then use the edges of the actual frame to just slide it all into place. So then you have a nice little frame on a background which gives it a little bit of sturdiness. So now we're going to put our little panel that we've done with the Brusho, and we're going to put that in the centre. If you are doing, so for this tree, I'm going to do one that's, in fact, no, I will do the tree again. I was going to do some, I cut some little die cuts out, and I'll show you what I cut out just so that it'll give you some other ideas. So I cut out, ooh, let me just get him out of there. I cut out the little tiny bird. So let's put this down here so you just get a bit of an idea. I cut out the little tiny bird from the Best Birds, because what you want is something which is cut out quite a lot, so it shows the background, but you want it white on the background. So that was one idea, and I thought again with Merry Christmas, little wren, little sort of robin, the bird might be quite sweet. I've done some snowflakes which are going to be for tomorrow. This is another one which is a lovely filigree one, so if you wanted to do sort of an autumn card, you could maybe put that one on there. But I'm going to keep with the the tree, and the tree is the filigree tree from Winter Woods. Now, the best way to do this is to line it up where you want it. Now, this one, I actually did it so that there was a little bit of the stem showing. This time, I think I'm going to have it... Do I want some more of that showing or not? It's entirely up to you where you put it. And I think this time... no, I think this time I'm going to bring it further down. So the best thing to do is to glue this piece on first. So let's just take our Tombow and we'll run it up. As I said, I'm quite comfortable using Tombow. You can use whatever adhesive or our adhesive sheets. All you need to do is to have, or a fine tip glue pen, anything that you want to just adhere just those edge pieces like that. Now I'm going to then position it where I want it. So I'm going to have most of the tree showing like this, and I want it over in the right hand side. So we're just going to stick that down, and then I'm going to take our paper snips and I'm just going to trim off the excess before I put it on the frame. The first one I did it afterwards because, again, it was just an experiment of ideas. So there we are. We've got that one. Now we can adhere this to, get some glue out, to the centre panel like this. Being watercolour paper, it is slightly thicker, so you need to make sure that you've got a reasonable application of glue. And then we're just going to put that into the frame that we've made on there, just lining it up so that it fits in nicely. Now, you could leave it like that, but what I did was I cut out another one because I wanted to have just that little bit of added dimension. You can do 3 or 4 or 5 of them, however many you want, to just make that frame stand out over the other image. But they're quite easy to do, as I say, with our stitch shape framelits. Mine aren't always exactly straight, but to be quite honest, when you've actually got it all together, it doesn't show that much. So again, I just put it down lightly and then pick it up, and then because it's wet glue, I can then manipulate it into the corners where I want it so that I have the frame perfectly. Okay, so there we are. We have a lovely frame like that, and as I say, you can put whatever you want inside, but it makes a beautiful background to work with and a nice little centerpiece to go on. It could go on the top of the box. It could go on the centre of a card. You can do so much with it once you've got it. It's there for you to play with. Now, the sentiment on this one, what I did was I just embossed this on some black, and then very carefully, I embossed it in white on black, and then very carefully just fussy cut out the little pieces. You want a very small sentiment to go across here. So something that'll fit in this little space here, or it could just go across there, but you don't want anything big because you want the background to be the main focal point. And then I just took a tiny little heart, which I cut out using the jar of love. There's a lovely heart. I think it cuts about 6 or 8 different hearts out, and I use that with the scraps of the Joyous Noel glimmer paper. So here's a fun background with using Brusho and our lovely shimmer paint. So come back tomorrow and I will show you what we are going to do with this one when it's completely dry. So thank you so much for watching me, and I do look forward to seeing you again. Bye bye.